What is up? It's Whitney Bro, and for today's video, I'm going to be doing a talking shit with Wit episode where we discuss the current situation. It's an ongoing situation, really, but the current thing that was sparked by YSL and Golloria's posts about it. So if that sounds like something you're interested in and you want to hear me talk some shit, keep on watching. Disclaimers that I want to set. First off, if you're not black, I really don't want to hear your opinion. Or darker complected. I don't want to act like there aren't people of different ethnicities that are also darker complected. But basically, if you're Caucasian, love you 5,000, but this isn't about you. And therefore, the discussion, the talking points made, whether it's right or wrong, cannot come from you because you're not the community suffering from it. Cool? Cool. So, first off, if you've only recently gotten into makeup, then to you, the point of yelling for inclusivity and advocating for that, and that being the one of the main intents of your platform, that might seem pointless, but again, because it doesn't affect you. So it's time to decenter yourself from the conversation, because I'm fortunate enough, my skin tone, sadly, is available as the deepest shade for some brands. And more than likely, I'm not going to be left out of a launch. It's still incredibly important to me to talk about it, because just because it doesn't affect me doesn't mean it's something that isn't a problem and not something that we shouldn't care about. You should advocate for inclusivity everywhere, not just in situations where you've been made to feel uncomfortable. So the moral of the story really is they sent it to her. She didn't go out of her way to get this product, to badmouth it, to do anything wrong. But they sent it to Golloria knowing what the product actually was and how it was actually going to perform. And as I record this video, I am remembering that I just saw a video today from Robert Welsh, and he's about my skin tone, maybe even a little bit lighter. He even tried the blush, and it looked disgusting and ashy on him. So for something to be claimed as a universal product and then have such a disappointing performance is not good. And it would be completely different if they hadn't made the claim, the brand, YSL, if they had not made the claim that this blush was able to be universal. And they used dark skin models in their campaign, but the dark skin models are clearly wearing something that's not actually the product that they're trying to sell you, which is false advertisement, and basically they're claiming something that can't be true because the makeup pictured is not the makeup actually being sold. And for the people who really love to shit on everyone's parade, the people who made Golloria leave the internet, if somehow some of you stumble on this video, stay, because this is going to be for you. Shut the fuck up. There's not a nicer way for me to say that, but I hate how people are like, you can't expect every brand to cater to you. But yet, the second there's a brand made for black people that doesn't cater to white shades, that's a problem. You know? So it's, as long as you're not affected, that's why you don't care about the problem, because it's not a problem for you. And as long as it remains not a problem for you, you don't see a problem with it at all. But a lot of this revolves around the fact that Gloria, as a dark-skinned black woman, came online and in some racist people's minds had the audacity to challenge brands and consumers too, to not think that something like this is acceptable. And again, had they not advertised it on someone dark-skinned, it wouldn't be shocking that it didn't work on someone dark-skinned. Obviously, they didn't depict it. They wouldn't have depicted that skin tone for a reason if they would have chose not to. But the bad part is they did picture a dark-skinned model wearing a completely different product, a completely different shade of product than the supposed advertised blush. And anything that has a white base, if it's not going to go on your eyes, if you try to blend it out as like a cheek product, it's going to look gross when you can tell the pigment ratio is like 50% white pigment, 50% lavender, and I don't know in what world somebody looked at those ads and was like, yep, that's good. Let's put it out. Let's risk our multi-million-dollar company over some false advertisement that we totally could have prevented by just not lying and not calling it a universal product. Personally, I think that Gloria had every right to say what she said. I watched her initial video before the backlash happened. And then when I saw her when I saw her post about the backlash, I was confused because I was like, did we watch the same video? She presented it for facts and what it was. She made it a little funny, but that's how her content is. And I was so confused at why people were bothered, not even just bothered, the fact that they were bothered so much that they felt the need to go cyberbully her off the internet, essentially. It just does not make sense to me, and I don't understand. I don't think she's ever going to stop talking about it. She's taking a mental break right now, which rightfully so. But, it just goes to show, even though we're in 2024, some people mentally are still in the 50s as far as race and inclusivity is concerned, because even now, it's not like this is the only brand we've had issues with. There was that awful blush from Rhode. They fixed it. Good for them. But it still happened that they have that doo-doo blush. And then, which is how a brand should respond. When you get criticism like this, and I don't know what YSL's response has been to all of this. I would hope nothing but love for the creator, because again, they sent it to her. Like, why are you going to send somebody something that clearly does not work for their skin tone and then expect a glowing review somehow anyway? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But given the controversial nature online of having the audacity to speak out for yourself or other people and not care about the consequences, that's the thing that's sad. And I think it's sad too how many creators, and again, you don't have to, but it's sad to me how many creators I haven't seen speak out about this situation. And if they don't want to say anything about YSL, at least speak out and show your support for Gloria, because she didn't do anything to deserve what she's going through. And she is honestly one of the most gorgeous people I think I've ever seen in my life. I remember the first time she landed on my feed, I was nearly breathtaken because of how beautiful she is. And just to think that she's getting all of this vitriol and hate because she's black it's disgusting to think that that is the reality in 2024. But I'd be denying the reality. Oh, we're going on an adventure. Going on an adventure. You still here? Okay, sorry about that. I would be denying reality to not talk about it, because other creators have made the same video talking about YSL and how that blush doesn't work and how it's awful, but they're not getting the same level of hate, really, that Golloria has gotten. And it doesn't make sense to me, because, and that, I'm not saying they should get the hate, because no one should, in my opinion, no one should get hate at all. You should have more of a life than to be rude to people on the internet. You know, like if that's what your pastime is being rude to people on the internet, maybe like go touch grass, you know, go outside, have a little breather. You know, you might be having a mentee bee if that's how you get through your day, is insulting people on the internet. Especially if you're racist. Like, you definitely need to go touch some grass, because if a little melanin has got you that fucking upset, bitch, you need to... something's wrong up here. It's mental illness in it. I completely understand her wanting to take some time for herself, because people can be assholes on the internet because they're hiding behind a screen, and it's not something that most of them would ever say to somebody face to face, but they just get that gumption because there's no, like, to them, she's not a real person. To them, there's not somebody behind the screen with thoughts and feelings and mental health to deal with, you know, all of the above. To them, she should shut up about the hate that she's receiving, because she had the audacity to call a brand out, which I think is a really fucked up way of thinking. And if you think that way, quite frankly, get off my page. You know, even if you've been a long time subscriber, I don't want subscribers like that. So hopefully it's not. Hopefully I've not attracted those kind of people. But you just don't know. You know, you just don't know somebody's true colors until something like this comes around. And you can kind of see how people respond to it. And it kind of tells you a lot more about them than just, oh, here's a situation with some makeup. Because it's a lot deeper than that. And that's what I think some people don't understand. They're just like, oh, it's just makeup. It isn't just makeup. It means so much more than just makeup, which is why it's so important that it be talked about as though it's not just makeup, because it is not. It doesn't end with the makeup. That's the point of it. The makeup might be what sparked the conversation, but the overarching themes around it, the issues, the lack of inclusivity, the deliberate lying and altering of what dark skin models were wearing, like, there's so much more to it. Like, here's the YSL blush, and there's all this shit around it, because it's way more than just makeup at this point. Really, at the end of the day, what matters in this entire situation is what we as a beauty community, how we respond to the situation. Because if we just brush it off and act like it isn't a big deal, then it becomes not a big deal, and that becomes the norm. And don't get me wrong, some of it is some slight rage baiting on the manufacturer's end. Did they send her that blush on purpose, knowing that it would go viral because it wouldn't work on her and other people would buy it to try it to test her claims? You know what I mean? We don't know how much or how little of a PR strategy went into this. Or if she's just on their PR list, so they just, I mean, but I don't know if they sent other colors, if they sent everything, or if they just sent the lavender. I can't remember. But it's just, I don't know. Either they don't pay attention at all to who they send PR to, as far as that their actual platform, things that mean a lot to them as creators, or they do pay attention and that brand knew exactly what they were doing when they sent the blushes to her. Now, I would argue it's a combination of the two. Do I think they intended to like get the backlash they've gotten? No, because I don't think any brand would want this amount of negative attention. But do I think they sent it to her knowing that she would likely cause it to go viral? I do think they sent it to her for that reason. In all honesty, though, situations like this, you either get it or you don't. And the people who don't get it, it's very obvious because there's so many other brands. Every brand doesn't have to cater to you. And it's like, okay, cool. So we're just saying now out loud, we're okay with brands saying that they don't care about or want black people to buy their items. Like, we're okay with that now, is what essentially those people are saying. And that's disgusting to me because that's not something we ever should have been okay with. There's certain brands that I would never purchase anything from. But if they release a product that isn't inclusive, you bet your ass I'm going to say something about it because it's not right. It doesn't matter if I'm their target customer or not, to release an intentional shade range where obviously at either end of the spectrum, super fair or super deep, usually it's a super deep, let's be real, but to release a collection, an item, a line, whatever the fuck you want to call it now, in 2024 with a bad shade range, it's intentional at this point. There is no more the days of giving brands grace. That's over. It's over. It's done with, because we are in a post Fenty society, which if you weren't into makeup pre Fenty, you don't know how bad it was. Like I said, there were lots of instances, especially with myself growing up doing pageants and such. I was always able to find my shade, but I was always the deepest shade, which how many people is that leaving out by me being the deepest shade? It's sad. It's pathetic for a multi-million-dollar company to act like they can't do better than this. There's startup companies that have done better than this. One of my friends, her name's Bev. Her company's called Worthy We Cosmetics. I haven't bought anything yet, but I'm going to. I'm saving up for a purchase. But I will insert them up here. Super inclusive. Amazing bronzer shade range from the deepest of the deep to the fairest of the fair. And I'm sure in the future, there may even be shades that she could expand on. But as a startup, was able to have that good of a shade range. So you're not going to tell me from a makeup production standpoint that it isn't possible for these larger companies to do it, because it is possible. They're just choosing not to do it. And that is the issue. Every person, regardless of their ethnic background or cultural affiliations, deserves to have products that will work on them. Someone asking to be included is not asking to be the center. And that's what I think a lot of people forget about, because whiteness has been centered for so long. There are a lot of white people, when they hear people advocating for inclusivity, it sounds like they're trying to push whiteness out of the way and take over with whatever skin tone they're advocating for. And it's just not the truth, because inclusion just means you thought about every person who could be a part of your target demographic. If your target demographic is, you know, women, age 25, loves to wear makeup. Black women are some of the largest consumers of cosmetics products. I can put statistics on the screen. You can Google it. I'm not making it up. So it's not as though there's not money to be made with Black women as a part of your target demographic. There's lots of money to be made. But at the end of the day, for some brands, they care more about upholding a image than they do the backlash they're going to get from that. And that's pathetic and sad, but it's the reality. There will always be brands who do and don't have inclusivity at their core, but you shouldn't market a product as universal if it's not. And there shouldn't be people upset about the fact that Gloria is upset. Rightfully so. When these people are basically playing in her face. Like, I'm sorry, if it was me, I would be upset. I would be offended that they even sent me something that, you know, that'd be like sending a white girl super dark, deeply complected things. And I'm sure that's happened, and the brand probably fixes it in a different way. But, you know, it just, it goes to show who has a frontal lobe that's developed and who does not, or really who's just stupid. Because I don't mean it to sound rude, which this whole video is a little bit rude, but it's talking shit with wit, so that's what we're doing here. But conversations around race and makeup, this is just a point that I want to drill home. I know I said it earlier in the video, but conversations around inclusivity and makeup and race and ethnic background are so much more than just a makeup product. It's like, that would be like if you deduce the whole integrating schools in the 60s to just saying, oh, it's just school. What does it matter? Every school doesn't have to cater to you. That's what you sound like right now. And I don't know, part of me hopes this video ends up on somebody's recommended or stumbles upon someone who feels that way, so maybe they'll get the hint to not feel that way. Because what happened to Gloria is not right at all, and those people have no lives. And somehow if she sees this, know that you're beautiful, know that you're loved and cherished. And as one of my friends put it on Instagram, the beauty community does not deserve you. So if you don't want to come back, we completely understand. But at the same time, we want you to come back because we don't want them to take that from you, because it's not something that they deserve to have that power, you know. But anyway, if you've had any thoughts along the way, drop them in the comments. Again, please pay attention to the disclaimers that I said earlier in the video, because your shit will get deleted so motherfucking quick. I might read it, but I'm going to delete it. So if you don't want to feel like your time was wasted, follow the disclaimers at the beginning of the video. If you watched the totality of my rant, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. That's pretty much all I have to say on this subject, because I'm going to end up repeating myself. I'm sure there's points when I'm editing this that I'm going to be like, you already said that. I appreciate opening my comments and having a dialogue with you guys, and just getting to know how other people are feeling about the situation or how it's affecting other people, because Gloria is a content creator. I always looked forward to her content, so it's going to be a little weird not seeing her post. It's going to be a little bit weird, you know, not having her content to engage with. But I think she's going to come back stronger than ever. I certainly wish that for her. This has been talking shit with wit. So if you enjoyed yourself, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!